ram firewood down people's throats. Here's what I'm seeing in my market this year. Am I the only one? If you were claiming that you're selling a cord, you damn well better be selling a full cord. I'm not sure how to say this without coming off as an a-hole, but so if you sell firewood, here's why your sales may be also slower, like mine. And welcome back, Fire Addicts, to another episode of Travis Does Firewood. And today I want to talk to you about the main reasons why I think that firewood sales are down this year. So in 2024, that was a record year for me, and that was when I decided to buy or order and buy the new splitter right there as you see it. And since then I have been stockpiling and splitting a whole crap ton of wood so I can meet or exceed what I made last year in firewood sales. And so far I've been coming up short. Each month I have not yet met what I had made that month prior in 2024. Now I track all my sales on a spreadsheet year to year, and from when I started tracking or when I started to sell wood, I have made more money each year. This year is not looking good. So what I want to do today is talk about maybe some reasons why my firewood sales are down, why your firewood sales are down, and maybe we can kind of figure out what's going on. So let's check out the firewood stand and see what I got in stock. Firewood stand is pretty much full to the brim, all stocked, ready to rock and roll. Side note, I need to do a better job of my bag return here. The sign is kind of wonky. I need to do a better sign, and this is okay. But what I'm doing is I have one of the bags just kind of like folded over like this, so people will know what it is or look at the sign and know like this is where you can turn the bags. Now this bag is, as you see, has become whitewashed. It's crazy, but I think if I can waste one bag, then more people will want to return them, and then I hit return bags. Anyway, I digress. Firewood stand is pretty much all stock, all ready to rock and roll. I even got some seasoned bonfire wood that I think is going to do well. I think people are going to buy that soon again. And kindling, so the stand is all fully stocked. All the signs are here, rock and roll. The sign is, I bought new business cards, everything good to go, but why isn't anything selling? Let's get into it. Well, I will say, I think one of the reasons is because, at least in my county, pretty much every summer, because here in Washington State, we got a lot of forest fires going on, and it's pretty dry, right? So at the beginning of July 1, I think to the end of August 31st, is a burn ban. You can't burn brush debris. You can't have like a big raging bonfire. You can't burn. But there is a way you can burn, have a campfire, and that's when the campfire is really small. I think it's like a 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot small little fire. That's okay. But then how are we going to find you? I think that happens if you have really like nasty neighbors. They can call in the fire department and report you. So if you have cool neighbors, rock and roll, keep burning. I mean, don't go crazy. But I think that firewood bans have something to do with it. I think too, in my area, we had a windstorm several months ago, and it took down a bunch of trees. And I think maybe like the weekend warriors went out to local hardware store, or they bought a chainsaw on Marketplace. Well, there has been since, I would say, a flood of firewood available online for sale, cords. Now, not everyone knows what they're buying. Not everyone knows how to sell firewood. And again, I don't sell cords, but I think that may be one of the reasons. As well as I've seen several posts lately on Marketplace of offering really cheap or maybe even free wood that is seasoned, wood that has been dried out for a very long time. To me, I didn't act on it because it looked like it was too far gone, but there is wood out there for available, either free or cheap, and or there's just a flood of market of firewood out there. And I think it was last winter. It was pretty mild, wasn't too cold. Maybe people still have firewood left over from last year that they're still wanting to hold off and wait until they buy my firewood. So weather does play a part of it. Now, I'm not going to get into politics or economics, but I think that there is a consensus that prices for things are going up. And I think yes, it's still summertime. It's time of year of how you burn and when you burn does play a factor. If money is tight and you need money for gas or for milk, you're not going to want to buy a $7, $5, $8 bag of or a bundle of firewood and have a campfire in the backyard to have a good time. I think people are penny pinching right now, so that's maybe why firewood sales could be down. Now, there is a possibility, I'm not sure how much truth this is, and it could be regional, but people may be switching back to alternative ways to heat their home. Either that's gas or the electric, and maybe heaters are more efficient nowadays. I'm not sure. Maybe going back to pellet stoves because maybe pellets are cheaper. I don't know. I'm just throwing out options for you folks. That and maybe the convenience. People may not want to go outside and put firewood in a wheelbarrow or carry it inside when it's wet and snowy outside. Maybe it's easy for them just to flip a switch or to hit the button on the thermostat and then they have heat versus having to build a fire type thing. So it could be the act of convenience, could be act of other ways to heat their house could be more efficient and cheaper. Who knows? On the note of the storm cleanup, wood, and people flooding the market, that could be it too. But then if people are buying a cord of wood and that is seasoned but it's not seasoned and it's wet, then they don't have money to buy another cord that is actually seasoned and dry to make up for the wood that they bought first that they can't burn right now. It's too fresh even to burn in the upcoming fall. So I think that economics too, that and people not being trustworthy of the wood that they are making available for sale. And maybe again for economics, if they can't afford a full cord, maybe they'll go buy a half a cord or a third of a cord, but that's not enough to do much, but that's all they can afford now. But maybe in the future they can afford more, but then the prices are going to increase because that's what it is, a supply and demand. So I think that people may be penny pitching, but that will go back to bite them later on, perhaps. Or the wood they had from last year, they're going to try to stretch it out as long as possible and get every ounce of heat from that wood that they have so they don't have to buy firewood or buy as much firewood for this upcoming cold season. But even if I don't sell all this wood, it's not going to go anywhere. Neither am I. I'm not sure how to say this without coming off as an a-hole, but I think that there is an educational gap between people who are selling and people who are buying. And people who are selling may claim wood is seasoned or it's a cord, and people who are buying, they don't know how much a third of a cord volume-wise is, or a half a cord, or a full cord. So I think maybe there is lesson to be had on people on both ends, of ones who are selling, people who are buying, of prices, types of wood, green versus seasoned, all that, so they can be educated enough to sell firewood and educated enough to buy firewood. But that's just my opinion. People may think that all wood is the same. Well, it's not. If it's not seasoned, it won't burn properly. If you are claiming that you're selling a cord, you damn well better be selling a full cord. Here's what I'm seeing in my market thus far this year. So I think I mentioned on the channel before that the lot of wood I have here, there is seasoned wood that is of several species. There is mid-seasoned wood of several species, and there is greenish wood that of maybe one or two species. So I do have a well-rounded collection of firewood in my wood yard right now, and that's ideal. Now I do need to bring in more wood to make sure that the tradition continues, but like I said before on my channel, I don't have much space or any space left. I am making some space, but then I made this whole bunch of bundles at one time, or no, bags of firewood, but now those aren't selling. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. I had thought about selling those bags in bulk to like a hardware store or gas station, but that's still pending. Luckily, what I have, there's no danger of the wood going bad or punky. I don't have any birch, so it's not gonna like be eaten away. But this wood is still gonna be here. It's fine, and we won't be here too long. But I'm trying to figure out like what's going on sales wise. Luckily, firewood is a side hustle, not my main job. But as sales are slow, production is slow. So I'm the last week or so, maybe last month, less time spent in the wood yard making firewood because nothing is is outgoing, so I don't have space for incoming wood. So that's an issue too. I think too on how you advertise. I have my wood mostly advertised on Facebook Marketplace. OfferUp, I have my old ads that I've never really taken down. OfferUp, I've experienced people who aren't serious on about firewood, about like buying firewood on OfferUp, whereas I have more people who are serious on a marketplace. And I don't really use Craigslist because that's for boomers. So yeah, so I think advertising is key. Make sure that you are upfront and the ad is short enough, but you can provide all the information so the person doesn't have to ask you a million questions afterwards. But then again, be willing to answer those questions because people want to make sure that they know what they're buying and you can be transparent and honest on your end too as a firewood seller. So number of bags sold, number of bundles sold, number of kindling bags and bundles sold, all down. I did sell a tote full of cedar chunks to a customer that has been really good to me the last few months in a neighboring town. He uses it for his outdoor campfire, and his wife recently had her birthdays, so they celebrated with a campfire, which is awesome. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not afraid of sales are down. I'm just commenting that I've seen a trend this year that firewood sales are down, and I got the new splitter so I can make sure that I can pump out wood, but I don't want to force sales, but I want to make sure that I'm encouraging the sales, but not having to like ram firewood down people's throats type thing. So I do have plenty of wood in the wood yard now. It will all be sold at some point, but I just wanted to share with you my story, maybe some options, and maybe get your insight. So if you sell firewood, are firewood sales down in your wood yard? And or a firewood sales down in your area? Have you noticed a trend compared to last year? Now, when I say compared to last year, I encourage you all to track your firewood sales, not in terms of taxes or whatever else, just to see what is selling, what's not selling, compare that to years prior. It is good to keep track. It's good to analyze the data and the numbers and just have it all there. You can see. And so when you ask yourself these questions, that you can find answers. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions of perhaps why you can figure out, think about, contemplate, assess of why firewood sales are down. Am I the only one? I'm not sure. Maybe, I think Daniel Atkins, who is 2 hours south of me one direction, is doing pretty good cord-wise, but he sells cord. If I sold cords, I'm sure I could get rid of this wood and no problem. But maybe it's time of year. Maybe people are looking for cord versus not small quantities. Maybe it's me. I don't know, maybe it's me. But I just wanted to throw it out there. If you all have any ideas, suggestions of why sales are low, let me know down in the comment. Anyway, that's it for this episode. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. And remember, life too short to be a prick, so be kind to one another. And make sure to do a good deed today. Rock and roll. Stay safe. Keep cutting. Cheers. Rock and roll, stay safe, keep cutting. Or a chord. I've seen people spell cord CHORDS like this. Chords? Chord? I don't. How? It's cord. CORD. Cord of wood. I don't. Anyway, I digress.